Oh, hello, everyone. Welcome again to another edition of the Four Idiots podcast presented by Fade You. Don't know why I'm calling it that. It's more than two dads here now, so it just fits.
It's
So
the
we're
degenerate
not going
dad.
to really recap last week. If you followed us, we're terrible. We've been hot every day, but we're due 2-6 collectively. That's all I'm going to say about that. You're going to have days like that. So we're looking for a bounce back Saturday. If you've been following all of us, I don't really tweet my plays out. A lot of them, I'm on the same side as Joey. I think he's lost one game Monday through Friday. So, we're still doing just fine. So
I went 1-2. I went 1-2 last Saturday on the show, and it was my only losing day in the last 23.
yeah. I mean, I hit my best bet of Texas Tech, and I hammered it, so I technically won money, but it wasn't what we were looking for. It was one of those days where the public was fed, and then they gave it all back on the Eagles the next day. I didn't. I've made a fuck ton of money on the Chiefs. Anyway, this isn't a football pod. So I'll probably start. I got a 9 a.m. game. I mentioned it in our chat last night. I don't love this play, but I kind of struggled to find three. I'm risking it with Rutgers. Wisconsin, they just don't impress me. Rutgers doesn't play well on the road. We know it. But defensively, I'm just hoping they can come defensively and hit some timely shots. I think it's down to a pick. I got them plus one. So it seems like I'm on the right side. If you want to say they're the better team, yeah. But again, they're not a great road team. I don't love this play, but for whatever reason, I just can't. I can't not play them. There's just something telling me to play this Rutgers team. I like it enough. It fits, a little system I have enough to risk it with them. So I'm going to just say, be careful with them. If you're listening, I wouldn't necessarily fade me on this, but I also wouldn't put, more than a unit, what you're going to risk on it. But yeah, I'm hoping to get off to a good start. I want some action at 9 a.m. What do you guys think?
I literally just got a text message like 5 minutes before we went on. Please tell me you like Rutgers today. So,
yeah. From who though? Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, it's a good thing. Dude's pretty solid. It just wasn't a game that I went too deep into. I personally don't have an opinion on that spot, but obviously I'll ride with you to the brinks of fucking hell. So let's do it.
Do we have to go to hell though? I mean, it seems kind of scary. Like, can we just go across the seas and have some fun? Maybe kill some pirates.
Yeah, my only take on this one, and I like where Kyle's coming from, right? So, Rutgers inexplicably 14-point favorites at home against Nebraska. Their last game, they lose by 10 after being 14-point faves. I think this is pretty nice little buy low spot. Hopefully, Coach whipped their ass a little bit, and they'll come out a little. They had no business in the last game.
It certainly helped. Wisconsin 3-12 against the spread in their last 15. I mean, love seeing that, right?
Yeah, I'm with that. I agree. You can't play Wisconsin in this spot, I don't think.
So the problem for me here is I don't like playing Rutgers away from home. Like I like playing them in Piscataway when they're at home. They're a whole new beast at home. But I mean, Wisconsin's 1-7 in their last 8 at home. I mean, so it's like I see things on both sides enough to keep me away. But yeah, gun to my head, it's Rutgers or nothing for sure.
All right, who wants to go next?
Anyone else have a 12:00 Eastern play other than that one?
I
have one.
I do, but I'll probably save it for or maybe I can't.
You got time.
My favorite.
I have a 12:00 Eastern play. I'll give out. So I have 3 plays on my card today. Just a little quick recap. Everyone that follows me on Twitter, 22-6, my last 28. I've had one losing day in the last 3 weeks. And that losing day was last Saturday here on the pod with the boys. So looking to turn it around from last weekend here, trying to stay hot. I'm going to UConn -10 at home versus Seton Hall. Everyone knows I'm a Connecticut boy from out that way. UConn's that hometown team. UConn has that elite defense, right? We all know that, right? Seton Hall struggles to score. Their last meeting earlier in the season, UConn blows that 14-point halftime lead, right? They're up 40-26 at halftime, end up losing the game outright. They lost 67-66 after being up basically the entire game. They come out the half and just absolutely give that game away. I think it's a great spot here for UConn to bounce back. Everyone knows I haven't, I've been pretty vocal about it. I think UConn's probably one of 3 teams as of right now that I think have a real shot to win the Natty. Obviously, brackets come out, things change, teams get good draws, some teams get bad draws. So hoping UConn gets the right draw in the bracket. They're a team I'm looking to play to win the Natty at plus 22-1. And I think they start getting right today. I think that run starts today. So yeah, UConn -10's a play for me. I see 10.5 some spots. I'd still play it.
I've seen it go. My book's got 11.5 already.
Jesus.
Wow.
I make that UConn line -17.5. So I think UConn's good up to -17.5.
Wow.
Yeah. So 4-2 their last 6 against the spread. Everyone remembers that shitty run they had where they lost 5 out of 6 or whatever it was, and that Seton Hall game I believe was part of that trash run. But if Dan Hurley can just get out of the fucking way, I think UConn starts to right the ship here and starts putting some wins together. And yeah, so that's a side for me. Anyone else like it?
I usually avoid laying that many. I just kind of automatically, unless it's the tournament, just go on to the next. I don't really look at them. But like I said last week, if you're on a fave like that, it makes me reconsider it because
I don't ever. When do I ever lay 10?
Yeah, exactly. So that's when the alarms in my head go off for sure.
Cool. Yeah, hopefully we get a dub there.
Yeah, they lost. You said UConn lost to them last game, and now they make them double dig this one.
Yeah, they had a 14-point lead at halftime, and not to mention UConn shot 40 some odd percent whatever from the floor that game. They looked awful in the second half. That second half was just an absolute disaster. What a collapse that was! It makes me mad talking about it.
All right, well, I'm going to go next because I'm sort of going to piggyback a very, very similar handicap with the game I'm going to talk about next, which is Utah State at home against Nevada. Utah State laying 4.5. These two teams, again, played each other a few weeks ago.
Nelly, what time's this game real quick?
It's later, maybe 7 p.m. Pacific.
Your time?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
All right, go ahead. Sorry, sorry.
5 p.m. Pacific. Sorry. Like she said, Utah State loses by 15 points against Nevada a couple weeks ago. This game was tied with 8 minutes to go, right? And you come out and there was nothing. They scored 6 points. The final 8 minutes, lose by 15, turn around, come home, you're laying 4.5 at home. It's one of just 2 bad losses that Utah State had all season. Just smelled very similar handicap to Cheese and why he likes UConn, right? That second half was an aberration, right? It happens to young teams when they're on the road. Sometimes you just lay an egg. I don't think that's going to happen. I think
Nevada shot 56% from the floor in that game.
In the game.
Yeah. Utah State shot 38%.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you go from a 2.5 point fave winning by 15 to catching points?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you here. I agree. I like
Utah State. Yeah, like Utah State in this spot.
Nice. I'll be on that with you.
All right, Duke, give it to us.
Going down south of the Mason-Dixon here for an in-state rivalry. Rebels earlier this year went to Mississippi State, lose by double digits, right? Lose by 10 on the road at Mississippi State. The spread was 5.5. Why not make it 3.5 today, right? Free money on the Bulldogs. They're 17-9, looking good. Mississippi's reeling, 10-16. Lay the bait. I gotta take it. Looks like 60-70% of the tickets, but that line's just holding. It's not going up. Staying there at 3.5 since last night. So got to be on the Rebels. We talk about teams that aren't that good to us. I know I've taken a couple L's on them this year because the lines, Vegas keeps respecting them. They keep making poopy ass lines with them, but hopefully they can fire after they've taken a couple close, bad loss, lost by 15 to Florida last game. So hopefully Kentucky took it out of Mississippi State. They lost a close one at Kentucky. Hopefully they gave it their all, and now they have a letdown here for Ole Miss.
Yeah, I was looking at them last night too. You know, and after you mentioned it, you know, I like it. It definitely smells like something you would play. So I'm probably gonna follow that with you because I don't know. I'm just staring at it now, and it's similar to the Rutgers play for me. You know, it's just kind of right there, and I don't want to play too many sides, but I mean that's a side I think I'm gonna regret not having.
I love when Duke comes in with some straight poop.
Man, if you want some straight
poop, there's more.
Oh, we know there's more. Oh, we know.
If you want some poop, I'll give you some poop. So I got another for Joey, 12 p.m. Eastern time game, 9 Pacific. So I'm going with Chattanooga. So the line was +2 last night. It's gone up to +3. Seems like everybody is on UNCG, but not me. You know, I kind of run a system, and this is definitely it. It's firing. I like this system more for March Madness. So I just take like a bunch of metrics, and it's just solely based off line movement because who the hell is looking at Chattanooga? Who even knows? I mean, I think everyone's going to know it's in Tennessee, but who even knows, oh yeah, that's college. I only know of it because T.O. went there. But you know, everything I'm looking at, no one is on them. And you know, it's a little troubling. Okay, it's gone up to +3. Looks like it might be trending to 3.5, but I think that's just because all the bets and money are on the opposite side. So that looks like it's my favorite bet today. I highly doubt any of you fuckers have anything to say about that game because it's like, again, who's looking for this shit? And these are the sides, you know, I mean, Neil knows these are the sides I usually try to find and capitalize on because you can get a lot of line movement in these lower conferences that no one's paying attention to. Everyone's about the Power 5 and whatever the hell it is in college basketball, Power 8, I guess, but
do like our small schools. I'm a little upset that you didn't tell me to play Detroit Mercy last night. By the way, that's usually a Kmart special.
Yeah, I was looking at them, but I kind of leaned. It was against Cleveland State, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. They blew him out, whoever it was.
Yeah, it was a tough one because I was like, oh man, I want to play Detroit, but I kind of was leaning Cleveland State on that one, and I don't know enough about Cleveland State. Like they used to be just very physical, but they don't play that way this year, so I just passed it.
That was one of those games that you guys almost woke up to the cheese text at 4 a.m. your time coming from me. I almost played Detroit yesterday.
Did you?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll just say,
looked at that. I know that too. I wish one person would have sent that.
I know. I know. I usually even say, "Hey boys, what about Detroit Mercy tonight?"
They were on my list. I ultimately got off and only ended up playing Mount St. Mary's, which obviously we sweated that together last night. Nice little W.
Yeah, I circled the Mount, and when I woke up to your text, I was just like, "All right, good enough for me. That's my one play."
You told me you looked at that the night before. You had already liked Mount St. Mary's when I texted. I was sleeping during your your breakdown of it.
My breakdown of, hey guys, what about St. Mary's?
That's enough for me.
That's why I got rid of Kmart Angles, because I don't want to talk about it.
It's enough for me, buddy.
Yeah. So, Cheese, what do you got for play 2 for us?
So I have 2 best bets on my cards. I have 3 plays total. I already gave out UConn. I'll give out one of my other 2 best bets, which I talked about a little bit last night in the group chat. We talked about it. I put out a little tweet last night saying I was going to be on it no matter what. And that is the Hokies, Virginia Tech. I got them late yesterday afternoon at -3.5 offshore. I know it went all the way up to 5, hit 5.5 at one point, came back. I hit it again this morning at -4.5. But I know widely available. A lot of people can't get them early. So I will give them out officially at -4.5 because it is available at some books still. If you only have -5, I still like it. I make Virginia Tech -9.5 here. I think they're good. I think they're good all the way up to that number. I think they absolutely blow the fucking doors off of Pitt today. All I've been hearing since last night from a couple guys that I don't respect in a group chat from back home. They hit me this morning with, and they had no idea I was on Virginia Tech. They aren't Twitter guys. They hit me with Pitt 9-0 against the spread on the road this year. Pitt looks like free money. Yep, that was enough for me. That was enough for me to be like, yep, Virginia Tech's on the fucking list for sure. As everyone knows, the Hokies are 11-3 at home, 5-0 in their last 5 at home versus Pitt. I like that. So, hopefully they come back today, make that 6-0, and beat the fucking brakes off of Pitt, who looks like the square side in this game to me. So Virginia Tech -4.5, up to -5. Let's take it. Let's cash that ticket. Let's catch this dub. VT to the house, boys. Let's get it.
Let's go.
Let's go next.
I thought it was a perfect fade spot for everything that Cheese just said, right? Pitt's been as free as it can be. Everyone's done nothing but cash tickets on Pitt. They love Pitt. Virginia Tech's the perfect team to step in front. So I like it. All right, my next play. Cheese, what game was an absolute layup on Tuesday? What was your layup?
Oh my God, I gave out so many layups.
Fade spot.
What was the layup on Tuesday?
Auburn.
Oh my God, the absolute blowout fucking ran Mizzou out the building.
Exactly. And there was the perfect spot because Missouri had just knocked off number 1, right? They go to Auburn, they get the shit kicked out of them. It was a 7.5 point spread. They lose by 33, which is exactly the reason why I'm taking Missouri -2 going home. It just makes perfect sense.
Recency bias, right? Everyone just saw them get the doors blown off.
100%. So the same reason why we faded them like mad against Auburn and laid 7, the same reason why I'm going to take them now, laying 2 back at home against Texas A&M. They just come back. It's even teams, but Mizzou's going to put up points against this Texas A&M team. It's what they do. So I love them sort of in a refocus spot. Get to come home. Both those games were on the road, right? So they rode Tennessee, rode Auburn. They get a home game here. Refocused. Let's not overreact. It's still a very good Missouri team. It was just a bad spot for Missouri.
Awful spot,
right? Yeah. It was just awful. It was a complete layup. So I think recency bias. Let's go back. Missouri is a very good team. I think they take care of this game. But
was that the game I tweeted out the actual layup emoji?
It probably was. It deserved it. It deserved it. I mean, I think it was like a 26-point spread at halftime. I think it was. I mean, it was 20 plus points at half. This thing had there was never an instance at past probably like the 7-minute mark where you're like, oh, I have to worry about this bet. And you're laying 7.5. It's pretty impressive. So I'll go back to the Missouri Tigers.
I like it, dude. Texas A&M coming off a couple big wins.
Yeah.
Arkansas, obviously LSU's trash. Beat Auburn. Beat a very underrated Georgia team. Yeah, I like it today. I'm with you. I think Missouri bounces back big today also.
Yep.
Nice breakdown.
All right. This one is one we love to see. Like we kind of saw with Texas Tech last week, how it was +1.5, moved all the way to them -2. Everyone and their mom was on K-State, but it flipped all the way. This is a similar circumstance. Delaware, I think I saw one of my buddies post +1.5 or something like that last night. I'm seeing -1.5 now. I'll probably just money line it. I think it's a -120 or 125, just because I don't want to fuck with anything weird at the end there. But just win, baby, win. But yeah, Delaware, that line's flipped. I'm seeing everything like 70-80% of the action on Wilmington, yet the line is flipped. I mean, look at the fucking records. 13-15 Delaware, and you got 21-7. I mean, Wilmington's the top of that league, and they coming in here and Delaware's favored. Why? I don't know, but I'm gonna trust the line. I'm going with that Delaware. I love it. Poopy home fave. Let's go. What are they? The Blue Hens or something?
The Blue Hens.
Yeah.
Maybe Biden will be in attendance.
The fighting Blue Hens, yeah. But if Biden and Kamala are there, cancel the bet.
Yeah, I see that at -1.5 as well. All right, so I guess I'll go. So my third play, seen a lot. Cuse. So I'm just like, yeah, Cuse. They need to, start getting some wins. They just had this big win against NC State. It's impressive this team is over 500. Like, they're fucking terrible.
They are.
Like, I watched that entire – I still have no idea how they beat NC State. I had money on Syracuse, and I thought I was waving goodbye to that money. Like, they seem to choke under pressure. They don't hit timely shots. Their zone isn't what it's been in years past. I don't like this team. They need wins to get into the tournament. They're going to need a showing in their tournament. And kind of the same thing with Duke. And here I am, kind of take a page out of Chris's book. I'm seeing a lot of tickets and money on Cuse, but yet this line is creeping to -1.5. And that's enough for me. Duke -1 is what I got. I still see that at my book. I'm seeing other lines of -1.5. So I don't really like road faves, but what's the difference? -1 pick, +1. We'll see. So that's my third play, Duke -1. I don't want to go down as far as saying they're the better team, but I think they're going to give Syracuse a lot of issues. They have more size, more depth in my opinion. Yeah,
anyone else like that?
It just seems like Cuse, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how many of you watched that game, but I feel like they stole it. Like, they just didn't look good.
I mean, it's pretty clear Cuse is not very good. They're not a good basketball team.
So, yeah.
I mean, my only concern, and my only concern with that one, and you can say that, Shire in his first year as coach, right? Duke's 1-7 ATS on the road. They have not been. I mean, they've been a really bad road team. The Dome is not an easy place to play, especially when you're Duke, right? They are still Duke. We've talked about Duke a couple times on, Kyle, you and I. Are you still paying a Duke premium, right? Even though they aren't who they are. I'm with you.
They're not who they're supposed to be.
They're not who they're supposed to be, right? And so, 1-7 on the road. ATS there is getting a lot of love still. Or I don't disagree with what you said about Syracuse. I don't know how they beat NC State, but
yeah, like whenever whatever day that was, where Buff and Chris were going at it and saying, "Oh, you better be on Cuse on Saturday against Duke." Blah blah blah. I thought that line was going to be like 3.5, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll probably stay away." Or shit, I even leaned Syracuse. If I'm getting 3.5, and then when this line came out at 1, I'm like, "What the fuck?" So I mean, it smells. I mean, it is like Syracuse +1 is smelly, like for sure. Like I know I'm on the opposite side of poop, but again, not all poopy plays are going to win. Look at San Jose State.
I don't know if it's poop anymore, though. I see everybody posting. I mean, I've seen a lot of people all over Q's. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And the line's creeping to -1.5. So, it's making my belief stronger. I'm trying to convince myself, don't, just keep everything the same, but Duke might be the one where I actually press and put a little bit more on today. That they're looking like they might be my best bet over Chattanooga. Just from what's changed from the start of this pod till now as I'm looking at stuff. But yeah, I mean, I like all three of these plays I gave out. Rutgers is kind of like the only one but I still like it. If I put money on it, I obviously like it. And I'm feeling good about our shit, guys. I think we're gonna have a big bounce back. Flip that 2 and 6, and
we always feel good about our stuff.
Yeah, I mean, especially after a loss, that's kind of when you're like, oh, let's get back on that fade you cock.
Cheese, what's the last one?
Fired up.
You want to go, Chris? You got one ready? No? All right, I'll go. All right, so my third and final play for Saturday is in the 4:30 window, Eastern Standard Time. I went to Villanova +3.5 versus Providence. I mean, it's no secret in our group chat, I'm not a fan of this Providence team. I don't think they're very good. I don't care what their record says. I don't think they're a very good team. I think it's a good spot for Nova here. Revenge game. Providence beats them by 5 earlier in the season, 70-65. Nova had one of their worst shooting performances of the season. They shot 41.5% from the floor. Providence shoots 50%, and they looked like they were lights out that game, if you watch that game. So they shot 50% from the floor, and they still only win that game by 5. See some regression here from Providence. With arguably their biggest game of the season on deck, they travel to UConn. I think it's Wednesday night, which arguably could be one of the better games of the week. UConn Providence later on, but I mean, in this series, Nova owns Providence long term. I mean, they're 14-3 straight up versus Providence in their last 17 games. Going back, whatever, like the last 7 or 8 seasons. But, I mean, how long has it been now that Providence has had like a really good basketball team? Like, we're not talking about Nova beating up on like these absolute bottom tier squads. Like, they've owned Providence, the last 6 or 7 seasons. And I don't think that comes to it. I don't think that stops today. I don't see Providence sweeping the season series. And like back to the UConn breakdown where I talked about liking UConn today after blowing that halftime lead. Same exact thing here. Nova went up. They were up going into the half. They come out, have an absolute awful second half, and get outscored by 8 in the second half to lose by 5. So yeah, I think Nova's a good spot here. It is my third and final play for the day, and that's at 4:30. So yeah, give me Nova +3.5.
Fuck yes, I saw it last night. Was asking people about it. Wish I would have got it before the line moved, but and I just looked. It looks like a lot of people are like, I love fading barely ranked teams. Oh, they got the 24 next to them, and Villanova's like what 500 or something. And why is that? Like you just said, she's lose by 5 at home, and now it's only 3.5, 4. Smelly as fuck. Let's get it.
Yeah, Nova is 500. They're 13-13. Yeah. And let's not forget, Providence just came off that huge overtime win versus ranked Creighton, where I mean, they had no business winning that game. Creighton gave that away, but yeah, Providence just fucking sucks, dude. I hate them. Yeah, Nova's officially a play. Fuck Providence.
All right.
What's up, Nally? What you got?
My final one. It was going to be Fresno State -1, but Kmart very quickly said he dismissed it right away. Don't know why. Fresno State loses by 22 points against Colorado State earlier in the season, and now they're favored by a point. Didn't make sense. But in honor of my dad,
Neil.
My respect to my dad, I'm going to go the other one that I was toying with. I don't know how. We talked about this team earlier in the week. LSU is on an L infinity +1 now, right? It was smelly against Georgia earlier in the week. We all said it. I was on LSU. They covered a 4.5-point spread on the road against a much better Georgia team. 1-13 now in conference, and you're laying 7.5. I know it's Chris's Cox coming into town. I hate to go against them, but I don't know in what world does LSU have any business laying 7.5 to anybody. That's why I'm going to take LSU, because this thing doesn't make sense to me. So I'll take LSU -7.5.
I don't even think LSU should be laying points versus obviously anybody, but even
Detroit,
teams like Central Connecticut State University, Murray State. I would hammer those teams versus LSU. I think LSU fucking sucks.
They probably do, but I don't see why they're 7.5-point favorites. So I'll take them as 7.5-point favorites.
He's trusting the old line. Why is it so big?
Again, some people we know thought LSU had given up on the season, right? I mean, but clearly that wasn't the case with Georgia. This team's still playing. So again, doesn't make sense, but I'll take LSU to get off the slide. I'll lay a disgusting number.
That's the only thing that makes me think they can cover today is that spread is disgusting.
Yeah.
Absolutely gross.
Well, last one. I think this one I was gonna do Pepperdine just because all of us saw what you can't play a better game of basketball than Gonzaga just played at LMU the other day. I think every time I looked at the TV, it was a fucking three or a dunk. It was just nothing, 70% from the field. Pepperdine's 9-18 and lost by 23 already in fucking Spokane. And now, or wherever the hell they play. And now they're only catching 16.5. But I'm going to fade Kmart's Trojans instead. Go Stanford. This is disgusting. USC just won by 37 against Cal the other day. Stanford. One thing that scares me is Stanford left it all out on the table for UCLA. But why is this line open 7? And now I'm seeing 5.5, 6s. Everybody and their mom's going to say, how can 18-8 USC not win by 7 or 8 against this under 500 Stanford team? I like the RLM. I like all the tickets are on USC, but that line's coming down. Stanford suck. Bottom of the barrel, Pac-12 against top. Give me the Cardinal.
What's the line?
+6.
Yeah, that is definitely stinky for sure. And SC similar to a lot of teams. They might be 18-8, but they need to really strap some wins together, especially after losing to both Oregon teams last weekend. They have to beat Stanford, got to beat Colorado, maybe even Utah on the road, and then they're going to finish up with Arizona and ASU. So they got to at least win 3 of these games and possibly a game or 2 in the tournament to hopefully get in to the dance. So they can't really afford another slip up, and this team's not as good as they've been in the past 3 years. They don't quite have the length they've had. Defensively, they still do all right because they run the same system. Top 50 team in efficiency, but offense is down as well. I thought this team was going to be better than what they've showed this year. There's still some time. Maybe they can, pick it up, get hot, at the right time. But yeah, they've been 18-8 to be a disappointment. Been a little bit of a disappointment this year.
Nice. Does anyone have any spots today that they like that they almost gave out?
Yeah.
Any other games?
Really. Like, I don't really like any of those, top 25 matchups, really. I probably lean Tennessee, but, Kentucky's kind of the poopy side. They beat Tennessee last time, so I've just kind of stayed away from that.
Yeah.
Last night I circled Coastal, but so did everybody else, so I'm off that.
If Kentucky hadn't beaten Tennessee earlier in the year, Kentucky would have been my best bet today. So I do. I would agree with that one. Yeah. I think we talked about it in our group chat last night, right? Like,
Tim Earl just said his best bet's Kentucky money line.
I've seen quite a few Kentucky bets on the feed this morning. I almost gave out Michigan. That Michigan State game tonight.
Yeah, I did look at Michigan because of all the shit that's happened, in East Lansing. Where their heads at. But are they going to ball out for their school?
I almost got to the window on Michigan. I just couldn't quite pull the trigger.
I kind of love the under in that game. That thing to me screams like 56, 53. I don't know why. I gotta look again. Total was 134.
I think you're spot on with that. Yeah.
I'm really struggling to see how those two teams playing against each other get into the 60s.
I mean, neither team's really good in my opinion, but I mean, Michigan State was minus 3.5 in their last meeting. I think it was last month, and beat Michigan by 6. Now you come back and Michigan State is catching 2 points. I don't know. Just looks like shit to me. It was Michigan or pass for me, and I also had a strong lean towards that under also, but I tend to not bet totals.
I think the other big game, and we'll talk just real quick. I lean Baylor in the Baylor-Kansas game. 5 seems like a lot against 2 really, really good teams. I'm also curious to see. Did you guys remember watching that Kansas game against Okie State? Right, we were all watching it. Dude, Harris was limping around at the end of the game. Kansas's point guard, like one of the he's not a big point scorer, but like big assist guy. Like he's out there with like 90 seconds and dribbling the ball, and he can't walk. Like he's skipping around, but they still have him in the game at the end of the game situation. I'm interested to see how bad that thing. His ankle actually is. I've been looking to try to get a report. I haven't seen anything. I think he's going to play, but he couldn't walk. I mean, the guy couldn't walk at the end of the OK State game, and he's their main sole ball carrier. He plays like 38 minutes a game. It's wild.
Yeah, that was Baylor, a pass for me also there. Ultimately, didn't bet it. Not going to bet it. I just look at it like, how do you make Kansas -5? Like I think Baylor's a potential Final Four team. Mm-hmm. Like, how do you just make Kansas -5 in this spot? But I think I tend to trust the line when the line's like that. I think it's like that for a reason. The line was enough to scare me off of Baylor here. It's almost crazy to say, but I would prefer Baylor at like +3.5 or something if that was the line. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
So, but that was a pass for me. It was Baylor or nothing. Chris, you got any more poop?
I was going to do I'm looking at Northern Iowa. They're playing Missouri State. Missouri State got them by, I think, like 12 at Northern Iowa earlier this year. And Northern Iowa was the fave in that game. Now it flips and Missouri State's laying 4.5. And Northern Iowa is sucking ass. It's disgusting. They are like on an L1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're on an L6. They haven't won since January 25th, so almost a month. And it's just a gross, I think. And I see everyone on Missouri State, but that line is just freezing. I like that. Probably they're at Missouri Valley Conference, little conference foes. So that one caught my eye.
Man, it's like everybody listening to this podcast. When we started, nobody was on Chattanooga, and now all of a sudden, everything's flipped. And now they seem sharp.
Look at that. Look what you did, Zach.
Caught someone's eye. Caught someone's eye other than mine.
Nice.
But yeah,
Beautiful.
I mean, I do lean Texas Tech, but it's not strong enough to play it. I'll probably watch it. I keep betting West Virginia, and man, they're a stressful team. They kind of remind me of Syracuse. Just untimely mistakes just kind of lead to their downfall time and time again.
Well, that's what kept me off Kansas State today. Everyone knows they can't keep the fucking ball. They hand that shit away every game, like 20 times. That kept me off Kansas State today. Just can't trust them.
Well, I think that runs us out. So I mean, this week there's 12 plays between the four of us. Last week there was only 8, so there's no one on the same sides today.
Oh wow!
So
I was gonna be Nova with cheese, but I thought, you know what? There's so much poo out there. Let's distribute the poo to 12 different.
You were the one that opened my eyes to Nova.
Like, that's kind of surprising. No one is with each other or against. Like, let's have a day, guys. Let's go 10-2.
Boy.
Let's go 10-2.
All right,
Just make more money. All right, guys.
All right,
See
boys.
you next week.
Bye, guys.
All right. Peace.